All right. We're working with parabolas and their applications. Let's see what we've got going here. First of all, find the vertex of a parabola. Here's how you go about doing that. F of x equals, put the first part in parentheses, then put the remaining number, oops, I'm sorry, I gotta change that just a little bit. And add a blank and then subtract that exact same number and then take the constant term last. Now, we're going to take half, keep the sign, take half of that number, coefficient, and square it, and write that number here and here. Now switch where the parentheses are. And so -4 plus 9 is 5. The vertex of this one, this number is connected to x, so we change that sign that's connected to the x, and we leave the other number alone, so it's -2 and 5. Parentheses, -2, 5. Number 2. The reason why we had to do those parentheses the way we did is if we have a situation like this, we still need to have the lead coefficient be 1. We have to take out that -3 out front. So that means 6 becomes -2x because -2 times -3 is +6, plus blank minus 9. Now, -3, x minus half of 2 is 1. Square it and write it here and here. Now switch the parentheses, and -1, oops, I'm sorry, -3 times -1 is +3. Let's try that again. It was -1 inside the parentheses, so we're going to make it +3 outside the parentheses. So that 3 minus 9 is 6. -6, 1 comma -6. So parentheses, 1 comma -6. Next one, an easier one again, because it doesn't have a lead coefficient. F of x equals x squared minus 8x plus blank minus blank plus 6. X minus 4 squared, right, 16 in both of those blanks. And now combine those two instead. -16 plus 6 is -10. So our vertex is at 4, -10. Parentheses, 4, -10. Number 4. F of x equals x squared plus 2x plus blank minus blank plus 5x plus 1 squared, so put 1 there and there. -1 plus 5 is 4. So our vertex is at -1 comma 4. Back 1, up 4. Let's check this one. Let's check out A and see what it is. -1 up 4. That's the one. All right. And the domain is all the real numbers because it'll go from infinity to infinity. Oops. We have to finish that one. I pressed the wrong button. Sorry. And the range goes just from +4 to infinity. Number 5. Now they want us to graph it. So f of x equals -8 parentheses x minus x squared minus 2x plus blank minus blank minus 14. Okay, so it's x minus 1 squared, put the 1 here and here, -1 times -8 is +8 outside the parentheses, minus 14 makes this -6. So our vertex is at 1, -6. It's open down because of the negative sign, and it's 8 times as fast. So I'm going to click to enlarge the graph. So I forgot what it was. -1 -6 over 1 down 6. Oops. Opening down, and when you go down 1 or back 1, you go down 8. Next one. Oh, the vertex will be at 1, -6. The axis is x equals 1. The domain is -infinity to infinity. And the range is from -infinity to -6, and it does include -6, so we will make it a bracket. Next one. Word problem. A college is planning to construct a rectangular parking lot on land bordered on one side by a highway. The plan is to use 560 feet of fencing. So here's the highway. So width, length, width, those three are going to add up to 560. What dimensions should the parking lot have? So area as a function of the width. Well, first of all, we have to note that 2 widths plus the length is 560. So the length is 560 minus twice the width. As a function of the area, as a function of the width, is the width times the length, but the length is 560 minus 2w. And so we get 560w minus 2w squared. Let's rewrite it so that we have the -2 parentheses w squared first, and take a negative 560 divided by 2, or 560 divided by -2 is negative 280w. Plus blank minus blank, close parentheses. Okay, so we factor this, w minus half of 280 is 140 squared. When we square it, we get 19,600. Okay, now this comes inside, and -2 times -19,600 times 2 is 39,200 positive, because this is negative here. So the width will be 140, because when you solve that for w, You get W is 140. So the width is 140. The length is twice that, which is 280 away from 560, which makes the length 280 feet. So 140, 280, and the area, interestingly enough, oh, they didn't ask us the area. Oops. The area will be that 39,200. Let's look at this one. H equals negative 32 t squared plus 64 t. Let's take out the negative 32 t squared minus 2 t plus blank minus blank. And so we get t minus 1 squared. Put the 1 here and here, but then when we put this in parentheses, that becomes plus 32. This is the maximum height, and it will happen at this time 1 second. 32 feet at 1 second. Oh, the number of seconds it takes to hit the ground is 2 seconds, because it's going to go up for 1 second and back down for 2 seconds. I didn't read the question. Number 8. A toy rocket is shot vertically into the air from a launching pad 5 feet above the ground, initial velocity of 96 feet per second. The height at any time is negative 16 t squared plus, well, let's take out the negative 16, so that'll make this minus. If we divide 96 by negative 16, we get negative 6t plus blank minus blank, close parentheses, plus 5. So t minus 3, close parentheses, squared. Put the 9 here and here, because negative 3 squared is 9. Now when we take negative 16 times negative 9 and put that outside the parentheses, it becomes 144 plus 5 is 149 feet. So the rocket will reach its 149 feet after 3 seconds. And it'll be at 149 feet. Okay, a charter flight charges a fare of $300 per person plus $10 per person for each unsold seat. If the plane holds 100 people and X represents the number of unsold seats. So here's the plane, here's the 100 seats. These are unsold, so the ones that are sold are 100 minus X. So the revenue as a function of unsold seats is the number of sold seats, because that's where you make your money, times how much does it cost for those sold seats. $300 plus $10 per person for each unsold seat. Okay, so when we multiply this out using FOIL, we get 30,000 minus 300 x plus 1,000 x minus 10x squared. So that's negative 10x squared plus 700x plus 30,000, which is letter D. Now, find the revenue for those unsold seats. Okay, that will produce the maximum revenue. R of x equals negative 10 parentheses x squared. Take negative 10 divided by into 700 and you get negative 70x plus blank minus blank, close parentheses, plus 30,000. So negative 10 times x minus half of 70 is 35 squared. So we're going to need to do 35 squared is 1225. Now when we move this outside the parentheses, we're going to have minus $12,250. Negative negative makes that positive. Plus 30,000 is $42,250. And the number of seats is 35. So 35 is the maximum, or is the number of unsold seats, and when you do, you get $42,250. If you have any questions, give me a call or drop me an email.